Hey Stoic friends, welcome back to my channel. The moment you feel it coming, you know. That rush, the heat. Your chest tightens, your heart pounds like a drum in your ears, and for a split second, the world shrinks to nothing but that moment. You're not in control anymore. The calm version of you, gone. What's left is the storm, the beast, the raw, unchecked part of you that doesn't think, it just reacts. It could be a betrayal, a careless glance, a text that should have stayed unsent. That's all it takes. Something small, something sharp, and suddenly you're at war with yourself. You lash out, you shout, you snap. You send words like knives, hoping to hurt the other person the way you're hurting inside. But when the noise dies down, when the storm quiets, you're left standing there, empty, ashamed, like you handed someone the keys to your emotions and they crashed your peace into a million pieces. Here's the truth. This video isn't about being passive. It's not about swallowing your pain and pretending nothing happened. It's about something far deeper. Control, power. The power to choose your response, not to be dragged around by your emotions, to not let that storm inside you make the decisions, to be the one who calls the shots. The most dangerous battle you'll ever face is the one with yourself. The Stoics knew this better than anyone. Epictetus didn't just talk about philosophy, he weaponized it. It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. That's not just a quote, that's your sword. The one you carry in your chest every time life tries to break you. And today, I'm handing it to you. I've been there. I know what it feels like to be consumed by that storm, to feel like you're drowning in emotions that you can't control. The sleepless nights, the guilt of saying things you can never take back. I used to break down at the slightest disrespect, but I learned, through scars, through painful lessons, that there's another way. I learned how to pause, to breathe, to stop the storm before it destroys me. This isn't theory, this is real. And if your emotions have hijacked your peace, if you've ever found yourself at the mercy of your own fury, this is for you. Every part of this video comes from real transformation, not from some abstract idea. This is lived experience, and I'm about to show you 7 brutally honest, soul-shaking truths that will change everything. Don't skip a second. Every single word here was carved from scars, from moments of intense self-reflection. If any of this hits home, if something resonates, I want you to feel it. Let it sink in. Then drop a comment below with the words, "I train my mind to pause, not explode." Let the world know you're no longer a slave to your emotions. You're in control. You choose. You decide what happens next. When the pressure rises, when the storm inside you threatens to tear you apart, remember this: you don't have to react. You can pause. You can choose. So if you've ever felt that anger surge, that storm rising inside you, smash the like button. Let the world know you're choosing control. Share this with someone who reacts first and regrets it later. And don't forget to subscribe, because this isn't just a channel. This is a brotherhood of minds who refuse to be ruled by their emotions. Now let's dive in. Number 1. You don't need to attend every argument you're invited to. You're walking through life carrying invisible weights, the expectations, the disrespect, the little jabs people throw without thinking, and suddenly, boom, someone says something that stabs right through your pride. Your jaw clenches, your chest heats up. You can feel the words building behind your teeth. And yet, what if silence is the real flex? People think reacting instantly means strength. No, it's reflex. Animals do that. We're men. We don't swing every time we're provoked. Because when you always react, they own you. They push a button, and like a machine, you perform. But when you respond, you choose. You decide if it's even worth your breath. There's power in walking away without a word. There's power in smiling while your mind sorts through chaos like a general planning a war. The enemy wants your reaction, but if you respond with calm, with pause, with that little stoic smirk that says, "I see the game, but I won't play it," you win, not them. Seneca once wrote, "A wise man is indifferent to that which he cannot control." What's more powerful than making someone feel small, making them irrelevant, not because you're avoiding the fight, but because you're above it? You've got battles to fight inside your own soul. Petty words won't distract you anymore. This isn't weakness, it's the opposite. It's self-discipline so sharp, it slices through every insult, every bait, every childish challenge they throw. You become a mirror, reflecting only what you allow, not a sponge absorbing every emotional punch life throws. And listen, some people want to drag you down just to watch you break. Don't give them that satisfaction. Your silence, that's the loudest response they'll ever hear. Number 2, your reaction is usually a replay, not a response. Have you ever lost your temper and later thought, "Why did I go that far?" It wasn't just about that moment. It was about everything that came before it. Every time you were ignored, every time someone made you feel small, every buried wound that never healed reacts for you. That outburst? That wasn't just about today. That was your past, screaming through the cracks. That's why most people don't respond to this moment. They respond to 10 others that came before it, and now they're bleeding on someone who didn't even cause the original wound. You can't respond like a man if you're still carrying the boy who never got closure. This is why self-awareness is not optional. You have to know yourself. Understand where your anger really comes from, because if you don't, someone's going to pull that string and your past is going to explode out of your mouth like a grenade. And afterward, you'll be left picking up pieces of something you didn't mean to destroy. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it, and this you have the power to revoke at any moment." That's your power. To pause, to observe your emotions like a man watching a fire, not running into it. The next time you feel rage rise, pause. Ask yourself, is this really about now? Or is this an echo from something deeper? Because that's when the shift happens. That's when you stop reacting and start healing. Not just for others, but for you. It's not about avoiding emotion. It's about owning it, feeling it without becoming it. That's the kind of man no one can manipulate. Number 3. When your emotions control your tongue, you lose your dignity. There's a pain worse than being hurt, and that's knowing you hurt someone just because you couldn't hold your tongue. We've all done it, said things we didn't mean, just to feel like we had the last word. Maybe it made us feel strong in the moment, like we regained control, like we didn't walk away weak. But later, when the silence sinks in, there's a shame that wraps around your throat tighter than any argument ever could. You know that feeling, replaying the conversation in your head, hearing yourself say that one line you wish you could erase. Not because it wasn't clever, but because it wasn't you. It was the broken version of you, the version who spoke from pain, not principle. You see, there's something sacred about silence when you could have spoken. Something noble about biting your tongue, not because you're scared, but because you're disciplined. Because your dignity is worth more than winning an argument that leaves your soul feeling dirty. And that's what Stoicism teaches us. Control of the self, not control of others. Epictetus said, "First say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do." That includes how you speak, how you carry yourself, and how you leave people feeling, even in conflict. It doesn't mean you allow disrespect. It means you deliver truth without poison, strength without cruelty. You speak like a man who has nothing to prove and everything to protect: his peace, his integrity, his energy. Because the truth is, reactionary men spend their power, resilient men preserve it. So next time your voice wants to explode, pause. Let your silence thunder louder than your rage ever could. Because real control isn't shown in what you say, it's shown in what you choose not to say. Number 4. Reacting quickly is how you lose slowly. It feels good, doesn't it? To bite back, to shoot that message, to slam the door with your silence or fire off words like bullets, cold, fast and sharp. You feel alive for a second, powerful, like you've won. But it's an illusion, because while you're winning moments, you're losing your future. That split-second rage, that reflex clapback, it's a sugar rush for your ego and a sledgehammer to your peace. You feed the fire, and the flames burn everything you built: your reputation, your discipline, your dignity. It's like punching a mirror. You hurt yourself trying to prove a point, and the cost? It's steep. You don't just lose your cool, you hand over your crown. You give someone else the remote to your emotions, and suddenly they're flipping through your moods like channels. You think you look strong, but what they see, someone who can be played, triggered, controlled. You give them power every time you react without thinking. And for what? For people who aren't even worth the breath it takes to explain yourself. People who couldn't shake your soul unless you left the door wide open and invited them in. Marcus Aurelius said, "How much more grievous are the consequences of anger than the causes of it?" He wasn't writing poetry. He was warning us, because the wreckage from one emotional explosion can take years to repair. Friendships, careers, your own self-respect. So, here's the flip side. There's a man out there who doesn't raise his voice. He raises his standard. He doesn't defend his name every time it's mentioned. He elevates it by how he moves, how he speaks, how he doesn't react. He's calm, like a loaded gun. He doesn't fire off randomly. He waits, he watches, he strikes only with purpose. That's not weakness. That's warrior-level restraint. Because real power, it's not in the explosion, it's in the pause. The pause is where your future lives. That second you buy yourself by breathing deep instead of snapping, that's where you protect your legacy. That's where you separate the amateurs from the kings, boys from men. That's where you get to choose. Do I waste my energy on this noise, or do I redirect it to my mission? Reacting is easy. That's survival mode. But responding? That's where your evolution begins. That's where you become dangerous in a different way. Unshakable, unmovable, unreadable. Because when you stop letting the world push your buttons, you start pushing your own boundaries. And that's how you win. Number 5. Every reaction you regret begins with one thing: no pause. It takes less than 3 seconds to watch your empire fall. Not the kind built with bricks, but the one stitched together with loyalty, late nights, self-control, and quiet sacrifices no one ever saw. 3 seconds of venom in your voice, 3 seconds of truth sharpened into a blade, 3 seconds of hitting send on a message your soul never gave permission to write. And just like that, years of effort, burnt. Not enough time to blink twice, but just enough to bury the man you were finally proud of becoming. You didn't pause. You didn't breathe. You didn't give wisdom a seat at the table. You handed the mic to your ego, let your fury take the wheel, and crashed straight into the wall. Now you're crawling through the wreckage of your own reaction, choking on the smoke of what you couldn't hold back. But that pause, that small invisible space between the trigger and the response, is not just a break. It's a battlefield. It's the moment where weak men fall and wise men rise. If you can grip that space, even for a heartbeat, you win a war most never even see. Because emotion is a storm, violent, sudden, blinding. It kicks the doors in and floods your system with lies. It whispers, hit back, burn bridges, make them feel what they did. But if you can stand still inside that storm, if you can outlast that boiling wave of rage, of shame, of jealousy, you'll see what most never do. The storm passes, the sky clears, the air calms, and in that silence comes clarity. That's when you realize it was never about them. It was about you, your wounds, your shadows, your unhealed stories, your craving to be seen. And only the man who pauses has the strength to hear that truth. Through the noise, through the pain, through the lies, emotion sells. The pause isn't weakness. It's your soul taking the mic back. Seneca said, "No man is more unhappy than he who never faces adversity, for he is not permitted to prove himself." And what is the pause, if not the greatest adversity in a world addicted to instant reaction? It's the moment that proves you're no longer a slave to every trigger, every insult, every low blow. It's the moment that turns a man into a force, because this world will not stop testing you. It will throw chaos at your calm. It will push your buttons, scratch at your scars, and try to make you forget the ground you fought to stand on. But if you can pause, just long enough to let stillness cut through the storm, you break the pattern. You become untouchable, not because you're cold, but because you're controlled. Not because you don't feel, but because you refuse to be ruled by what you feel. And that's where real power lives. Not in the swing, but in the restraint. Not in what you say, but in what you choose not to. Not in the fire you throw, but in the fire you master. Because calm isn't passive, it's calculated. It's the mark of a man who owns himself so deeply no one can pull him out of place. So the next time your chest tightens, the next time someone tries to drag you into the mud, don't flinch, don't speak, don't fire back. Let the silence choke their chaos. Let your stillness speak in a language they can't understand. Let your wisdom finish the sentence rage tried to start. Number 6. Discipline is the bridge between thought and action. The strongest men aren't the ones who flex in the moment, but the ones who practice the art of control before they ever need it. It's the quiet preparation that separates those who react from those who respond. The discipline you cultivate now, in the calm, in the quiet, is what determines how you'll act when chaos hits. This is where real transformation begins. When you're faced with a challenge, the man who has trained himself in restraint won't rush in with fists clenched. He will stand in the middle of the storm, calm as a mountain, and choose his next move with the care of a master chess player. He knows that strength isn't about how loud you can shout, but about how patient you can be when the world is screaming at you. Epictetus said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." In the heat of the moment, we forget this truth. We forget that we don't have to act. We don't have to respond immediately. In fact, the greatest sign of strength is the ability to choose when and how to act, not because we're forced to, but because we are disciplined enough to do so wisely. This kind of discipline is built through routine. It's developed in those tiny, everyday moments that might seem insignificant, but are actually everything. How do you react when the coffee spills, when someone cuts you off in traffic, when someone says something offensive? These small moments are where you practice the art of restraint. It's not the big challenges that test us, it's the small daily moments where we decide whether we will react or whether we will respond with calm, clear-headed judgment. This isn't just a theory, it's a way of living. You decide every day to build that bridge of discipline. When the storm comes, you'll be ready, not because you're perfect, but because you've learned to embrace the process of mastery. And when that storm hits, you will respond with purpose, not with panic. Number 7. The greatest victory is over yourself. It's easy to point to external enemies. It's easy to blame the people who challenge us, who try to provoke us, who seem to hold the power to make us react. But the real battle, the one that matters, is always within. And the only way you can stop reacting to everything and everyone is to master your own emotions first. This isn't about controlling others. It's about mastering yourself. It's about finding peace within before you ever ask the world for it. It's about the calm confidence of knowing that no matter what happens, you have the power to choose your response. You see, every time you react impulsively, you lose control of your own life. You allow outside forces to take the wheel. But when you learn to respond thoughtfully, when you make the conscious choice to pause and think, you take back the reins. You become the author of your own story. This, my friend, is freedom. And that freedom isn't won in one day. It's built over time, through daily practice, through acknowledging your triggers and choosing not to fall for them. The Stoics knew this truth well. As Seneca said, "We suffer more in imagination than in reality." The battle is never as big as we make it in our heads. It's only when we react without thinking that we make it feel insurmountable. But when you choose to stop reacting, you reclaim your power. You become the man who can handle any storm that comes his way without breaking. You become the man who doesn't just survive in life, but thrives through it. The hardest part isn't the external conflict. It's the internal war, the one where you choose to rise above. And when you make that choice, when you master yourself, there is no enemy, no situation, no challenge that can defeat you. You felt it, the burn behind your eyes, the tension in your jaw, the weight of words unsaid, the war within. But what separates the man who rises from the one who falls is the 1-second decision no one else sees, the decision to hold still, to breathe, to let the fire rage without letting it consume. That's power, that's self-respect. That's what makes you untouchable in a world full of weak reactions and loud noise. You don't need to scream to be heard. You don't need to strike to be respected. Every time you hold back, every time you choose calm over chaos, you build a stronger version of yourself, brick by brick, breath by breath. And slowly, that silence becomes your signature. That stillness becomes your strength. Let the world throw stones. Let them try to shake you. Let them misjudge your quiet as surrender. Because you know the truth. Your silence isn't a retreat. It's a throne, and no one shakes a man who rules himself first. Mark your presence below. My silence is not weakness, it's command. Like, comment, and subscribe to this channel. This isn't just a video, it's a revolt against every impulse that ever tried to define you. You are not here to react, you're here to rise.